he is practically begging the ref to wave it off. Throw in the towel, stop the bout, bow down, stop the fight. I mean, am I lying here, folks? Ever since Bronny James donned the purple and gold, it has been a non-stop soap opera. But this latest twist, it hits different. Rumor has it, the pressure cooker finally exploded behind closed doors, with Bronny allegedly in the crosshairs of his own squad, and the moment King James caught wind of it, he switched from supportive dad to full-on problem. We have got the exclusive details coming up, but first, do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe for more NBA drama. Now, let's break it down. It starts with the Summer League simmering. The bad blood between Bronny and his locker room reportedly traces back to the 2024 Summer League. The core issue? Teammates were fed up with what they called blatant star, treatment that split the roster right down the middle. Remember, Bronny was the 55th overall pick, fresh off of freshman year, at USC, where he put up just 4.8 points a game on 36.6% shooting across 25 contests. He missed the first 8 matchups that season following a scary cardiac arrest incident, and let's be real, most mock drafts didn't even have him on the board. His arrival in LA sparked instant heat, with scouts asking the uncomfortable question, is he here for his jumper, or is that legendary surname doing all the heavy lifting? Then came the Summer League struggle. In his first 4 outings, the young guard averaged a mere 4.3 points on 22.6% shooting, while going an ice-cold 0 for 15 from deep during that stretch. The Lakers kicked off the tourney 0-5, and the mix of losing basketball plus questions about roster politics brewed a toxic storm of resentment. Despite the slump, Bronny logged the second highest minutes on the squad, playing 25.1 minutes a night, trailing only first-round pick Dalton Knecht. Reports suggest the media circus surrounding Bronny rubbed the rest of the roster the wrong way. One Lakers insider revealed that this alleged red carpet treatment destroyed team chemistry and tanked their competitive edge. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back. His thoughts? Dropping the hammer by stating what everyone was thinking. We all know the only ticket Bronny punched to the FOD League was stamped by his father. One anonymous Summer League teammate got even more specific, claiming Bronny was treated like a separate entity, not like one of the guys, and admitted it was incredibly annoying as there was zero brotherhood in the group. He went on to vent that he ended up extremely frustrated because he was never put in a position to succeed. Instead, the playbook seemed tailored to highlight Bronny's skills at the better now, expense of everyone else trying to earn a spot. This player insisted that if you asked anyone else on that California Classic roster, you would hear the exact same story about the double standards they lived through. Another source clarified it wasn't personal beef with the kid, but blunt honesty, Bronny is just not ready for the bright lights or the NBA level. From what I see, this wasn't a solo opinion. Multiple guys felt their own shot at an NBA contract was being sacrificed just so the organization could appease LeBron by developing his son, win or lose. Stephen A. Smith backed this view, admitting that while opening night was a heartwarming moment, continuing to force-feed Bronny minutes when the stats don't add up makes zero sense given the product on the floor. Opening night, the Griffeys courtside, father and son sharing the hardwood for the first time in history. It was a cinematic masterpiece, but then the final buzzer sounds and reality hits. We would love to see him develop in the G League because, frankly, that is where he belongs. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss brushed these whispers off as pure envy, implying the leaks came from fringe players who were never going to make the cut anyway and were just hunting for a scapegoat to explain their own shortcomings. Head coach JJ Redick framed Bronny as Exhibit A for the Lakers' revamped development system, and the front office was dead set on giving him the reps to mold him into a legitimate two-way threat. You saw this philosophy in action during the summer, where Bronny stayed on the floor regardless of missed shots or the mounting losses. But the blowback against this strategy wasn't contained to the first locker room. It spilled into the media, where analysts grilled the franchise for putting one prospect's growth ahead of actual wins. And that brings us to the real conversation. Hey guys, quick timeout. Can we just be honest here? Is Bronny James actually ready? Is he really Lakers material right now? Drop a comment below if you think he needs more time, because we need to face facts. Now, to be fair, Bronny did bounce back in his final 2 summer games, dropping 25 points and dishing 3 assists while hitting 10 of 21 from the field and 3 of 8 from downtown before sitting out the finale. Those flashes showed the potential lurking inside, but for the doubters, 2 solid quarters don't wipe away weeks of struggles. That summer friction lit the fuse for a debate that has raged all season. Does he deserve that roster spot? You have heavy hitters like Richard Jefferson and Tim Legler breaking down film, basically saying, look, he has the tools, he just needs to polish 1 or 2 things. But really, is it that simple? As the regular season rolled around, the whispers about whether he belonged grew into shouts. And then came the moment that perfectly encapsulated the awkward tension, a clip that went absolutely viral. Redick's outburst and the coaching drama. If you need one snapshot to define the Bronny James saga of the 2025-2026 season, it happened on November 18th, 2025 against the Bucks at Fiserv Forum. A moment replayed millions of times. The Lakers secured a commanding 119-95 victory that night, with Luka Doncic putting on an offensive clinic to lead the charge and seal the W. But despite the scoreboard, the game highlighted the clumsy integration of Bronny into the rotation, a problem that had been brewing for months. Bronny, now 21, and in his sophomore year, was handed his second career start that night. The move was part of the Lakers' broader plan to shuffle lineups and test their youth, forcing Redick to get creative with rotations amidst injuries and the constant pressure to experiment. Rotations. What was billed as a golden opportunity for Bronny to cement his spot in the lineup against Milwaukee turned into a brutal lesson regarding what happens when nerves get the best of a rookie under the bright lights. Right out of the gate in the first quarter, the youngster found himself in prime real estate beyond the arc with nobody near him. We are talking about crystal clear passing lanes where he caught the ball ready for wide open three-point looks that every pro needs to knock down in their sleep. But instead of letting it fly, Bronny froze, opting to kick the ball back out, which completely killed the team's rhythm and burned valuable possessions. You could see the visible frustration on the court over the wasted scoring opportunities. Teammates looked visibly aggravated that he refused to pull the trigger when he had daylight. The Bucks defended Bronny like he was zero threat, from deep, practically begging him to beat them. He checks into the game and looks terrified to look at the rim. Folks, Milwaukee was leaving him on an island. They were treating him with the same disrespect defenses show Russell Westbrook or Ben Simmons. They dared him to shoot. Redick's reaction was instant and raw, screaming from the sidelines in a clip that immediately caught fire on social media. Right after that second hesitation, Redick had seen enough. He yanked Bronny after just 4 minutes of action in the first half, sending a loud and clear message regarding the standard of accountability expecting from this roster. Bronny rode the pine until the second half and only clocked about 10 minutes total for the night, putting up just 2 shots the entire evening. The tension between the head coach and his rookie reached a fever pitch that everyone in the arena could feel. JJ Redick, ladies and gentlemen, was literally screaming at Bronny James during the game to shoot the basketball. It got intense. Folks, he was verbally tearing into him on the sideline. I'm going to throw that graphic up on the screen so you can see exactly what Redick said to him. Basically, shoot the ball or sit down. This outburst wasn't random. It ties into issues with Bronny's aggression that have been a concern since Summer League. Redick has preached accountability and shooting with confidence in every postgame, interview, and practice, seeing hesitation as a major roadblock for young talent that needs to be crushed immediately. This fits perfectly with his philosophy. Remember, this man played 15 years in the league as a sharpshooter who never met a shot he didn't like and would let it rip, no matter the coverage. Redick built a career on never passing up an open look, so watching Bronny do the exact opposite clearly drove him up the wall. To his credit, Bronny handled the heat like a pro in the days after the loss. Talking to the press, he owned up to Redick's criticism, admitting the coach was pushing him to be a threat and to punish defenses for leaving him open instead of deferring. Bronny stressed that he is focused on getting 1% better every day, saying, quote, "When the rock finds me and I am open, I have to let it go," unquote. Before we continue, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see Bronny succeed. That mindset paid off when he was sent down to the South Bay Lakers in the G League to get some runaway from the NBA pressure cooker. In a monster showing against the Santa Cruz Warriors on November 22nd, 2025, he dropped 15 points on an efficient 5 of 10 shooting, dished out 8 dimes, snagged 4 boards, and swiped 3 steals in a 115-95 victory. It showed progress in the exact areas Redick demanded. aggression, and decision-making. JJ Redick opened up after a tough loss to the Sixers about the choice to play Bronny and where the plan went south that evening. He admitted that on a back-to-back set, trying to get a spark might have backfired. He noted, quote, "I maybe put him in a tough spot, flying in yesterday for a nationally televised game in Philly. With all that noise, it is just, he did not play well. But he has been killing it in the Stay Ready scrimmages and playing great in the G League." Looking at the big picture, this incident did not derail the Lakers' momentum as they kept rolling with 10 wins in their first 14 contests. But the blow-up did spark a huge debate on how coaches handle tough love versus player confidence, especially for high-profile rookies living under a microscope like Bronny. Notably, there was zero noise from LeBron James or the vets, suggesting the locker room saw it as necessary coaching rather than disrespect. While Redick was pushing Bronny on the hardwood with an intensity that shocked some fans, the lingering question was how the King felt watching his son struggle through these public growing pains. Let's look at LeBron's reaction and the father-son dynamic. LeBron James has kept a cool and supportive demeanor publicly regarding his son's minutes and the occasional benching during the 2025-2026 campaign. He consistently frames Bronny's path as the natural grind of a rookie rather than showing anger or demanding special treatment from the staff. This aligns with LeBron's long-term stance of letting Bronny walk his own path, without his dad stepping in to fight his battles. In a discussion on December 30th, 2025, LeBron reiterated that he has never been one to meddle with Bronny or Bryce's coaches, stating he avoids calling them and prefers they coach his son without worrying about his input clouding Bronny. Their decisions. When asked about seeing Bronny's actual improvement, LeBron spoke about his son's development with unmistakable pride in his tone. He was asked, "How has that chapter been? Actually seeing the tangible growth?" LeBron replied, "It has been great to see and watch. He is still young. I mean, he obviously just turned 21 not long ago and is still learning and, getting better with every single rep." Publicly, LeBron's reactions have been strictly supportive and paternal, keeping eyes on the journey rather than the immediate results. Following Bronny's comeback from his health scare at USC and into his NBA career, LeBron noted in an interview on March 23, 2025, that he has watched steady improvements in Bronny's game that the average fan might miss. He said, "I have seen, since making his return to the hardwood following that terrifying heart scare at USC, Bronny James has shown steady improvement every time he steps on the floor. That cardiac arrest in July 2023 didn't just threaten a career, it shifted LeBron's entire worldview, adding a layer of depth to the season that goes beyond basketball." For a dad who came dangerously close to tragedy, seeing Bronny suit up at the pro level means infinitely more than a box score or usage rate ever could. Fast forward to the 2025-2026 campaign, and Bronny's minutes have been a roller coaster, usually hovering around 5 to 7 minutes as the Lakers scramble for playoff seeding. Through it all, King James has kept it classy, refusing to throw the coaching staff or the front office under the bus. Back in a post-game presser on November 19th, LeBron kept the mood light, laughing off the critiques and calling it a joy to watch, while admitting his son is still a young buck facing a steep learning curve. The King also opened up about the new family dynamic now that Bronny has flown the coop and is navigating life in his own apartment. "He's growing up," LeBron joked. "Honestly, you'd have to ask him how he likes it more than me." Before we dive deeper into the locker room dynamics, make sure to hit that subscribe button. He's not living under my roof anymore, so we don't chat as much. He's got his own spot now, so I can't just walk down the hall. But he's doing great. Now, when it comes to the tough moments like Bronny getting a measly 1 minute of run during that loss to the Spurs on January 8th, 2026, LeBron has maintained radio silence publicly, even though we know the media is dying for a soundbite. Insiders noted LeBron was resting that night anyway, and despite the rumor mill churning, there hasn't been a single verified peep of him blaming Coach Redick. Bronny, for his part, kept it real in a July 3rd, 2025 interview, admitting that his dad's main advice is to wear earplugs when it comes to the noise. LeBron tells him to completely tune out the trade rumors and hot takes that circle the franchise like vultures. "We don't really dwell on it," Bronny said. "But when the chatter gets loud, he just tells me to brush it off. Don't worry about it. Don't even give it energy. On the Mind the Game podcast with JJ Redick, LeBron got sentimental about watching his son navigate the draft combine and the realization of a lifelong goal. As a parent, LeBron reflected, being there to watch your child actually start living out their wildest dream. It hits different. It's all Bronny ever talked about. We used to ask him constantly, what's the plan? What's the end game here? And he always said, the NBA. So to see him standing on that precipice as a father, you just have to sit back in awe. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? To see our kids win? LeBron also touched on the pressure cooker Bronny is living in. He admitted that Bronny handles the microscope way better than he could have at the same age, simply because the media beast has evolved. He's not me, and I'm not him, LeBron said. I truthfully wouldn't be able to handle the level of scrutiny he deals with, especially with social media. When I came in at 18, I didn't have Twitter and Instagram breathing down my neck. I had pressure, sure. I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, but I didn't have a 24/7 news cycle dissecting my every move. Sports talk shows, feeds, timelines, talking about one kid every single day. If you're loving this breakdown, smash that like button and let's keep going. Interestingly, LeBron's shadow GM reputation hasn't really applied to Bronny. While he's famous for pushing roster moves, he's taken a back seat here. In an October 1st, 2025 post, he framed playing with his sons as a personal joy, rather than a mandate the Lakers organization was forced to honor. However, despite LeBron's cool demeanor, the elephant in the room remains. The controversy over how Bronny got that jersey in the first place hasn't vanished. It's the debate that won't die. We have to talk about the nepotism allegations. When the Lakers selected Bronny, the internet exploded with claims of special treatment. Critics argued that without the James last name, Bronny wasn't on the radar as a legitimate second-round pick based on the analytics. Most independent scouts and mock drafts didn't have him listed based purely on his college production. At the heart of this drama is Rich Paul, the CEO of Clutch Sports and the most powerful agent in the game. Former Warriors GM Bob Myers dropped a bombshell on ESPN, reporting that Paul was working the phones aggressively during the draft. The word is Paul warned teams, do not draft Bronny James. If you do, he's going to play in Australia, not for you. This power move effectively cleared the board, steering Bronny directly to the Lakers at pick 55, right where LeBron wanted him. It was a brazen strategy, essentially holding the league hostage to ensure a specific outcome for his client. It forced teams to pass on a player just so he could land at his preferred destination. Let's be real, 99% of prospects could only dream of having that kind of muscle behind them. The situation created what the skeptics called a force package deal that nobody else wanted to touch. The harsh take from the critics, LeBron overplayed his hand, thinking he could trick a contender into taking his $55 million contract and his son. Nobody wants that baggage. So now he's stuck in Lakerland. And look, LeBron didn't help matters with his comments years ago. Back in 2022, he famously said, wherever Bronny is, that's where I'll be, implying he'd prioritize family over rings. That emotional draft night and his subsequent 2-year extension only cemented the theory for the haters. To the public, it looked like the draft selection was the golden ticket to keeping the king in Los Angeles. Wrecked the credibility of the entire draft. Former top pick Kwame Brown didn't mince words, accusing the king of flexing his influence to gift wrap a career for his son, effectively stealing a spot from gritty grinders who actually earned it. Then you have Stephen A. Smith dropping the hammer with the cold hard data, asking how anyone justifies keeping the kid in the lineup when the production is virtually non-existent. We are talking about Bronny James averaging a microscopic 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds per game. Do you hear what the streets are saying? Do you realize the pressure cooker they've thrown this young man into? Across 13 games, he's clocked 44 total minutes and put up exactly 4 points. He is shooting 1 for 16 from the floor and a painful 0 for 7 from deep as we roll into the 2025-2026 campaign. The drama isn't fading, it's intensifying. Between the limited minutes, the G League shuttle service, and the apparent immunity from being waived despite the empty stat sheet, the Lakers can't shake the allegations of special treatment. If you're loving this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Now, supporters claim this is just business as usual, pointing out that family ties run deep in NBA front offices and ownership suites where who you know often trumps what you can do. Insiders like Adrian Wojnarowski and Stephen A. have argued that burning a late second-round pick on Bronny was a low-stakes gamble that barely dented the team's future. However, Smith clarified he wasn't attacking LeBron's character, but rather begging him, father to father, to rethink the psychological toll this microscope is taking on his boy. We all see he isn't league ready, and I say that with genuine love. I am pleading with the absolute best to ever lace them up. A top 2 talent in basketball history, a global ambassador for the sport, the face of the NBA, a 4-time ring bearer, and a man who marched to 10 NBA finals, a legend the likes of whom we will likely never see again. Smith then pivoted to a chilling lesson from boxing lore, bringing up the time Joe Frazier threw his son, Marvis, into the Lion's Den against Larry Holmes. About everyone knew was a massacre waiting to happen. You remember that, right? The legendary Larry Holmes, heavyweight king, master of the jab, and then you had Marvis Frazier. Marvis steps into the square circle, and Larry Holmes, man, he said in the pre-fight interview, ain't no kid with 10 fights beating me, and he delivered on that promise, hurting the boy bad. Before he even threw the final blow, he was literally signaling the ref to stop the fight. Boom. End it now. Boom. Save him. Am I telling the truth? That is history right there. Everyone stared at Joe Frazier asking, what were you thinking? Why would you sacrifice your son like that? Did you forget who he was fighting? And that is my question too. Do you not realize the caliber of these killers in the NBA? But beyond the nepotism chatter haunting Bronny since draft night, a much larger crack was splintering the foundation between LeBron and the Lakers brass, threatening to derail the whole show. We're talking ownership, beef, and shattered trust. While everyone focused on the court, a massive divide was growing between James and the front office, adding serious volatility to an already fragile ecosystem. Former controlling owner Jeannie Buss reportedly vented her private annoyance regarding LeBron's total lack of appreciation after the franchise selected Bronny 55th overall in 2024. She viewed that pick as a massive favor that warranted a thank you. According to reporter Baxter Holmes, insiders claim Buss felt James should have been gracious about the move, but instead, she felt cold-shouldered, expressing real disappointment that her generosity went unnoticed. This friction boiled over during contract talks that summer, where the vibes were already icy. Buss reportedly saw drafting the kid as an olive branch to keep the king satisfied. Despite Bronny's health scare and struggles at USC, she felt managed by LeBron's massive ego and the stranglehold Clutch Sports held over team operations. The chemistry between Buss and her star had been rotting for years, with the owner feeling less like a partner and more like a pawn being moved around by the players' camp rather than building toward a championship together. The bad blood stems from major organizational shifts that left LeBron feeling sidelined and disrespected. Make no mistake, everything circles back to James and his completely broken dynamic with the Lakers hierarchy. The betrayal started back in the summer when news broke that the team was exploring a sale. That was an earth-shattering, landscape-shifting moment. The Lakers sold for a record-smashing valuation, yet LeBron was completely blindsided by the news. Obviously, Jeannie Buss is still in the mix. She remains the governor or the face of the operation. She is still heavily involved. But keeping LeBron in the dark while reports suggested other stars like Luka Doncic were in the loop, that I believe was the dagger that severed the trust between James and the front office. The tension actually predates Bronny, spiking after the disastrous 2021 Russell Westbrook trade, which Buss felt she made just to please LeBron, only to watch him dodge the blame when the experiment blew up in their faces. She also resented the narrative that James was the sole savior of the franchise in 2018 and even toyed with trading him to the Clippers in 2022. When things hit rock bottom, Buss sold majority control to Dodgers boss Mark Walter in June 2025. Though she kept her title, LeBron brushed off these reports in January 2026, claiming he's unbothered and refusing to feed the rumor mill. When pressed about where he stands with Jeannie, LeBron admitted that there are two sides to every tale and that viewpoints vary. I thought we were solid, but hey, maybe someone sees it differently. It's always two sides of the frames. Same coin. But look, at the end of the day, how I've carried myself and represented the purple and gold from the moment I touched down until now has been nothing but class, honor, and dignity. James doubled down, highlighting his unwavering loyalty to the city over the years. LeBron is finally clapping back at the critics, questioning his loyalty to the purple and gold, reminding everyone that his roots in Los Angeles run deep. In fact, outside of his legendary run in Cleveland, he spent more seasons wearing a Lakers jersey than he did anywhere else, South Beach included. But let's keep it real. The coach killer narrative has shadowed the king from city to city, with bench bosses seemingly having an expiration date whenever he's in town. That reputation followed him right to Hollywood. Since 2018, we've watched Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, and Darvin Ham all get the axe, leading to the current JJ Redick era. It's been a wild ride of championship highs and firing lows, leading to massive speculation about who really holds the power. And when they hired a rookie coach in 2024, that really set the internet on fire, considering Redick was LeBron's co-host on Mind the Game. Before we dig deeper, smash that like button if you think LeBron is the real GM. Despite the obvious connection, James went on the record claiming he had zero input, insisting he step back and let the front office make the call solo. But the drama isn't just in the front office. It's getting awkward on the court with Bronny. The whispers behind the scenes are getting louder by the week. It's looking rough for the young rookie. Body language experts are saying he looks like he'd rather be streaming NBA 2K online than actually playing in the league. It feels like a forced legacy play. Fast forward to mid-January 2026, the Lakers are sitting at 25-16. Hey, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Even with a winning record, the tension is thick. Every bricked shot and every eye roll on the bench goes viral instantly, raising the stakes for the entire James family. The pressure cooker is definitely on. Thanks for tuning in. Tap one of the videos popping up on your screen right now to keep up with the latest hoops drama.